Today we're going to talk about how to change the valve seals on a 280Z engine. The reason for doing that, if your car's smoking a little bit or smelling like oil, but it's just here and there you see it come up. And also your plugs might be turning black like this. See how that's kind of real black around there. It's not black around here, which would indicate an oil ring leak, but it's right there, and it's kind of an oily, shiny residue. So I know somehow the oil is getting into the cylinder to cause that problem. So what I'm going to be replacing here is this right here. This is a valve stem seal. It's made out of rubber. This one's not crumbly or anything. Yours might be crumbling apart when you take them out if they're really old. And this is a new one here. The diameter on the two, this one's a little larger than that one on both sides of it. So I know that this one's not within tolerance anymore. So the first thing I'm going to do here, we look around here, is we're going to, I've already done all of these, and I'm going to do these last two here. So the first thing I got to do is I'm going to get, this is the camshaft here, and you might be thinking, well, it's kind of in the way. We're going to do it with that in here without removing the cylinder head and everything there. So I'm going to turn this so that the cam is right now, it's kind of pointing down here, over here, so I can pop these rocker arms off. First I can take the spring off. You just kind of lift up like that, and it comes right off. With those out of the way, what we can do here, this one's already pointing up, so I can get this one off pretty easily. I've already loosened these up. You loosen up this lower nut here, and then screw there. There's a little tiny nut right there, right up underneath there, and you just screw that down. Okay. So I've just tightened these things down, and just tighten it up like that, and that makes it go down so that we got more play here to get these off. What I'm going to do is just take a little screwdriver here, and just get in here and fish that out. There's the lash pad right there. Again, it's important to keep these in the right order, so I'm just going to leave that other lash pad on the valve. And I'm leaving the other rocker arm in there, that way I know which one goes with which. Now, here's the most important step. If I try to take these valves off here, first of all, I might have some trouble getting them off because the whole valve will move up and down. But the valve itself could just drop right down in the engine. So what I'm going to do here is I want to raise the piston up to its highest point and stuff this rope in there. As tight as I can get it. That way the valve can't fall down the engine. If the valve falls down, and then everything's got to come off, and I got to go fish it out. Okay, so what I got to do is get the piston up to the top, and I'm going to turn it with this, and then I'm going to put my finger right down in there so I can kind of feel the pressure, because this one I really can't see. Okay, that's right at the top there. So I'm going to take this rope and stuff it in there. Some people say 4 feet, but I've never been able to get 4 feet of rope in here. It's maybe closer to 2.5. Main thing is just to make sure you're packing it in nice and tight. I like to do these one cylinder at a time, and always make sure that before anything else I'm packing this rope, and if I have to quit working on the car for a while, Usually I want to pack my rope first so I don't come back out here and start pulling a valve off only to find out that I didn't pack my rope in. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I got to loosen up the keepers here. And so I'm going to pound on top of it. All right, now I've got that to, now if you look in here, you can see in here that, I'll get some more light on it there. The valve is going down, the valve is staying where it is and the spring's going down. That's what we want to see. Now if we see the whole valve going down, either the keeper didn't come loose or maybe we forgot to stuff the cylinder. If that's the case, we got lucky. Now all I need is this magnet over here. And I can push down on here. I'm going to get this magnet in here. Pull one of these keepers loose. Here we go. I don't want to pull it out right away. Just get my finger under here so it doesn't drop down in here. Especially important over on this side. When I'm doing this side, I'm stuffing a rag down in here so it doesn't cause a problem. So here's a keeper here. That's half of the keeper right there. So I'll put this over here in a safe spot. Now the other one seems to always be on the back. This spring compressor here is it's a KD Tools one. They're not made anymore, but you can find them on eBay. Makes it so you can do this with the head on and the camshaft in place. So what I'm going to do here is take this little pick, scoot that other little keeper around to this side. If I'm lucky, I'll get a hold of it. Looks like it's out of place now. There we go. Got the keeper out. Okay, that was the hardest part of getting it off, is getting that thing out. Sometimes you have to pound on it a few times with a hammer to get the thing loose. I'll take the keeper holder off and the two valve springs. It's very important that you don't flip these valve springs the other way. They have to go in the same way. Luckily mine have like an orange paint on them. Yours may or may not have that, so I always know what side goes down. I'll put these over here. And I'm going to dry the keeper off here because when I found when I don't dry them, they get slippery. And the thing falls out and the little keepers go falling in there and falls somewhere in the engine. I might not ever find it again. Okay, here's the valve stem seal. That's what we want to get out. So I just got to get the screwdriver down in it, just kind of poke around. I keep a hand on top of it too because the first time I did one it went flying off. I didn't know where it went. It comes out pretty easily. It's not cracked or anything, but again it's not within spec. Here's the new one. And it comes with this little thing here to go over top of the valve so it won't hook up on the groove in the valve, but it's not really necessary. It seems to cause more trouble than it's worth. Be just careful putting it on. So slip it over the top here. Slip it down to about there. And I take this 10 millimeter wrench here, put it over top, push down until it clicks. Hear that? You can feel it too. You'll know if it's in there good. Now we got our new stem seal on. Now it's time to put the stuff back together. First I'll put the spring in. Got that in place. For me, I take one glove off because I can't seem to hold this stuff in place with the glove on. If you look at the keepers here, there's a little groove in the top here. That little groove there is where that has to go on top. So I'm going to put that inside of here, like so. Put the other one in there. You don't want to drink caffeinated drinks before this. It makes it too shaky. Okay, so look inside there and you can see the keeper in place there. Now ideally I want to keep it in that position, but I'm going to turn it so it's in this direction so I don't have one in the back and one in the front. So it's instead of like that, it's like that. Because the way the spring compressor works, it doesn't seem to go straight down, it kind of goes at an angle. So if I do it like that, it seems to work a little better. Now here's the tricky part: to just keep your finger over there and carefully put it in there. You don't want to drop this thing. And I'll rotate it so I've got it. One on this side, one on that side. I get my compressor back out. Get on here first. I'm keeping my finger on there the whole time so I can press it down. Just kind of push those keepers into place and let up gently. If they don't go into place, try it again. Okay, now afterwards I can kind of bounce this a little bit and the whole valve goes up and down at that point. Just lightly, a little bounce. If it does that, that means it's in there tight. And then when you look in there, you can see that everything is just gripped right tight on there. And then we know our valve is back in place. Alright, now I'm going to put my lash pad back in. So put that on there. Did you see how that's all nice and tight in there? Nothing, the little keeper's not popping up or something like that. So I'll put my lash pad back in. And then I'm going to put this at a little bit of an angle, just to the right of the peg here. The peg's screwed all the way down. Alright, and I got a little bit behind the peg here. The objective is to pry this thing up enough to where I can, once you get it a little over the peg, see, it snaps right into place. On here. And now it's all ready for adjustment. What I would do to adjust it is, if you look here, you've got intake, exhaust, intake, exhaust, intake, exhaust. Wherever there's an injector is, that's intake. And so I took my feeler gauges out. I got an intake here. This is that one there. And I've got a 25 millimeter one, and I've got a go no-go gauge that goes from 0.229 to 0.279. Basically, on a go no-go, you slide it in and it'll go into here and then it'll stop here. That's an easy way to tell if you got it right. I use both. So I just slide it in there till it's tight. Adjust this up or down and tighten this screw here until I get it just right. Ideally my camshaft is pointed a little more up when I do that. And then I'll check it with the go, no go. And that's it. That's how to replace the valve stem seals on it. While you're in there replacing the valve stem seals, take a look at your injectors here. If you haven't cleaned them out lately, don't rely on that stuff over at the auto parts store and things that are selling you. All you got to do is just depressurize your fuel system, cut these off here, undo this clip, this screw here, and those injectors pop right out. Really easy, really simple. Send them off to Fitch Injector Service Technology. We'll get them all cleaned up, test for you, make sure that everything, because even if it's a lot less money than buying new ones, and we'll verify that all the injectors are firing exactly as they're supposed to be, so everything's even in your engine. Thanks a lot, and get those changed.